Houston history, that's only been done in a game one other time. Billy Hatcher in 1989 against the Dodgers had 2 triples in a game, but they have had Craig Reynolds back in 1981 3 triples. Bud Black said there wasn't contact there. That should be strike 3. Was he tossed? I did not see the heave-ho sign from plate umpire Greg Gibson. He's taking a lot. I think Black was saying that that should have been strike 3. That's as mad as Bud Black has shown all season long, and he's had to maintain a lot of anger throughout the course of this year. He hides it well. He doesn't show disappointment, anger, frustration. And he's most unhappy here. Here's the listen.
Oh, yeah, foul tip.
Maybe he was arguing about another pitch.
The 0-2 pitch to Derek Barton is a little bit high. Veritek kept it there for Tony Randazzo to take a good long look. And it's ball 1.
Papelbon wanted this one. Puts his hands out to his side after this pitch, just a little bit up and away.
Outside, ball 3.
And once again, not missing by very much, but just outside.
It's just outside.
That's about the 4th pitch this inning that Papelbon has not agreed with, but I believe this splitter is a little bit outside.
To left field, and trouble as this one will get in for a base hit. Barton scores from third base. Coco Crisp goes to third on a double for Cliff Pennington. Now the tying runs are in scoring position as it is 7-5 all of a sudden.
Jason Veritek having words with Randazzo, the home plate umpire. Papelbon comes in to get him away. Francona comes in to get him away.
Veritek must have been ejected as he now takes off. Veritek saying something to Randazzo, and that was it.
That did. Came very quickly to the heave-ho, didn't it?
Yes.
I don't know if this argument's over balls and strikes or what it was, but I mean, it was very quick that Veritek got the heave-ho from Randazzo.
Down the line at third off Youkilis. 1 run is in. Here comes another, and the Oakland A's have tied the game 7-7. Take strike 1.
And now Randazzo's he's gonna have something to say to Papelbon, because Papelbon kind of looked in too. Now he's gonna go. Don't bump him, Jonathan. Don't bump him.
great deal of frustration here displayed by the Red Sox, no doubt. First Veritek ejected, now Papelbon.
Ejection for Jonathan Papelbon. He throws a strike, and he felt like that's a pitch that hadn't been called a strike for a lot of this inning. And he's kind of staring at Randazzo, and then Randazzo starts to go back out at him. And here we go.
You know, it really looks like Randazzo brought that on himself in a little bit. I understand his dismay there at first, but he really was the aggressor coming out, taking the mask off and then barking back at Papelbon as Papelbon had turned his back.
Well, you can understand Papelbon being upset because those pitches for most of the inning had been called balls.
Yes.
And he finally gets one that's called a strike, and it's almost like it's, you know, there it is, same pitch. And then Randazzo came charging out after him.
Nationwide.
Oh, yep, there we go. And I have a feeling somebody's going to get kicked out of the game. Yeah.
Marquis been tossed out of the game.
And now Jim Riggleman is going to go ballistic, I have a feeling.
And Marquis was basically just saying, if you want to know what Marquis is saying, look at the scoreboard. Why would I be trying to do this?
And now Gary Darling, who's the crew chief, is having a conversation with Marquis. And Justin's not happy. I think they're going to try to keep those two separated for the time being until Marquis gets off the field. Justin needs his helmet.
If you could read Justin's lips, it appeared to be as if he said, we'll play you guys again.
Now, see, Riggleman's saying, well, you threw my guy out of the game, but you didn't throw their guy out of the game. Because in Rob Drake's mind, that was intentional. And in Rob Drake's mind, Ian Kennedy's, when he grazed the jersey of Michael Morse, that was not intentional.
What if neither one of them were? What if Marquis wasn't intentional?
Yeah, then he should probably still be in the game. But that looks to me like it's intentional.
That hit him in the back.
And I'm sure Espin's going to get thrown out of the game here. Yeah, he got thrown out of the game. And Espinosa and Montero are yapping at each other. Essling's been thrown out of the game. And that looks like that's going to be it.
So square in the back, Espinosa is hit right between the numbers. Vasquez tossed out of the ball game. Montero was none too pleased.
Yeah, Montero was basically saying the same thing that Jason Marquis. Why would we be hitting you in a 1-0 game? And Kirk Gibson's also been thrown out of the game. So he'll exit. And he'll go to his office.
Yeah, he always goes to his office, all the way up there.
He'll hand the keys to the car over to Alan Trammell, his bench coach, who's now going to be acting manager.
And a breaking ball called strike 3, number 10 for Cliff Lee. And he did it with a little style here in the 6th inning. He just struck out the side. 8, 9, and 10 to finish off the Dodgers. Bottom of the 6th, and the last pitch to Casey Blake. Sarge, I thought this was a pretty good pitch.
Well, it's where it crosses the plate, not where it ends up. And I got to tell you what, might want to be swinging when you have 2 strikes. Blake not very happy about that. You can see him screaming and yelling there, saying, come on.
And he's been thrown out by Mark Carlson.
Well, I don't know if he was arguing the balls and the strikes. That's just a no-no. And you're going to get kicked out of the game.
Don Mattingly came over to pick up the argument. He wasn't ejected. Jeff Kellogg, the first base umpire and crew chief, came over as well. And this is back live. Mattingly's back in the dugout. He's made the adjustment to his lineup card.
Strike three. Orlando Cabrera punched out by Amaury Sinead and Dale Scott. So the Indians get a run on no hits, 4 walks, bases left loaded. Derek Jeter's coming up in the bottom of the 8th. Stick around. Well, Francisco Cervelli will lead off the bottom of the 8th inning. The end of the inning had Orlando Cabrera getting punched out. Looked a little bit outside, and he wanted to tell Dale Scott as much. So he has a little bit of a conversation with Dale Scott, then decides to become a street artist. He wants to draw a line in the sand and say exactly where the ball. Oh, he hit his toe and he's thrown out. You can't touch the umpire.
You can't draw the line. That's the thing. They have such a. I mean, it's automatic.
Yeah.
You know, the anger right there. I don't get it. All right, you're gone. See ya.
So Talbot has pitched well, but he knows he's in a duel with a guy who's not giving up runs. Now Alex gets hit, and Talbot's thrown out of the game. Talbot gets thrown out of the game, and he's pointing to the mound and said, hey, the mound is wet, and I took a misstep. So the home plate umpire, Dan Iasoni, said, I've seen enough of this, and he throws out Talbot.
You know what? You can tell, I said last night by the reaction, and as bad as this looks, Talbot, this looked like it actually got away. Yeah. Carmona last night, there was no doubt in my mind. But again, we'll watch the replay. And the reaction tells a lot on the pitcher.
He says he slipped. And on a wet day today, that could happen.
It looked like he slipped.
Well, he looks down at the mound.
I don't know. You think he slipped?
He looked a little funky, but again, it just looks bad because Alex hit a long home run. And you see the umpire. I don't care. These teams have been warned.
But the weird part is, Paul, they were warned yesterday. I don't think they were warned before the game unless they did issue a warning before the game. We didn't know about it. So Talbot gets thrown out of the game.
You know, a lot of times you get hit in the muscle of the leg. That looks closer to the hip, and you see that's a painful place to take it.
No argument from the Pirates, though.
Overbay deep to center. Still carrying. It is caught by Angel Pagan. Pagan asking the fireworks to stop. And Clint Hurdle's going to come out, and he is going to question second base umpire Brian McKnight to see if this wasn't a trap against the wall.
Yeah, did this ball hit the wall first?
Did it hit the wall first or no?
I couldn't tell. I haven't seen anything yet that shows me that it hit the wall. It sure sounded like something banged the wall. I guess it was not the baseball, though.
I think his webbing was right up against the wall when the ball hit.
It certainly looked like a catch there. This will show it for sure. Going very slow.
What's the question?
That's a good view. Clint Hurdle has just got run out of the ballgame. Second time this year he's been ejected. Now he is talking to Jerry Lane, the crew chief.
You know, he wasn't. It's not like he's going crazy or anything. Wow.
That was a double whammy. Jerry Lane and Bob Davidson both tossing him simultaneously. Clint has said his piece, and now we'll head back to the dugout and up to the clubhouse. And Overbay is going to remain out. 15% say no, and 23% for yes. Andrew McCutcheon will take strike one.
And somebody just got run off the bench, and it looks like it is going to be Matt Diaz, who was barking from the bench, and Bannister, the bench coach, had to go get him and send him up the runway.
It is a fastball and a called strike 3. That pitch looked low, and Oswalt thought it was low. But there are 2 outs.
Yeah, it was down in the zone, though. But again, Alan Porter's been calling the low pitch. Take a look at it as it comes in. That ball's too low. It's plain and simple. Now, he has been calling low pitches. Called Fukudomi out on one in the very first inning. But yeah, that ball's low. But as a pitcher, you're going to go out and Charlie want to say something to him.
I think somebody was just thrown out of the ball game. I'm assuming it was Charlie because he came running out to say something. I don't think it was Oswalt. Alan Porter not saying much as Charlie's coming out to argue. And now the second base umpire, Gary Cederstrom, the crew chief, coming out.
Yeah, he's not going to let him get to, his umpire. And there you see an umpire actually taking the brunt of the heat from one of his members.
Can't argue balls and strikes. Charlie must have been saying something, and Alan Porter threw him out, so now Charlie's going to get his money's worth.
Well, you know what, too? Give credit to Alan being able to walk away and not even get into that. Cederstrom again getting in the middle of it. Well, I think you might be right.
He's still hot. There's Charlie barking at that pitch, and that's what he's been thrown out of the game. Sunglasses off. Whoop.
Here it is. And it's popped up back into shallow right. Came in with a fastball. Ordonez makes the catch. Tag. Ruggiano's headed to the plate. This game is still a 1-0 game. Ruggiano's going to argue with the plate umpire. Here comes Madden. Tom Foley down as well. And the Rays don't like that call. Ruggiano tagging, trying to score on the fly ball to right field. And Madden is upset. Madden has just been ejected. See Joe telling John Tupain that he was wrong. And here is another look on the replay. Ruggiano tagging at third, and we'll take another look at this.
It's a lollipop throw from Ordonez and a swipe tag that's never made. And then Tumpain waits to make the call, watches Ruggiano touch the plate, and then get tagged, and he says, "You're out." I don't get it. Watch him wait to make the call. No call, no call. All right, he's on the plate. Oh, no, you're out.
There's never a tag made until Ruggiano had touched the plate. He missed him clearly. Ruggiano's on the plate, and then Avila goes back to tag. And Tupain has ejected Madden, and now he's still getting some flack from the Rays dugout, as well he should.
Bottom third of the order. Jose Molina takes the first pitch strike and looks back at Bob Davidson and said, "Bob, I think that ball was low." Goes after that breaking ball. He's in a hole 0-2. Free pitch strikeout for Jason Birkin.
Thrown out.
He threw out Jose Molina. And that first pitch was the entire root of the problem. Bob Davidson has ejected Molina from the ball game.
He had something to say to him after that first pitch, and then when he swung at that ball for strike 3, had something else to say to Bob Davidson. He's been around a long time, and he wasn't going to stay and take it. So Molina is thrown out of this ball game. And I wonder if that changes now John Farrell, what he's going to do if he wants to pinch hit.
Well, he has not made the announcement of Rivera yet. That might change his entire thinking. But the first pitch of the at-bat is the one that created the problems for Jose Molina.
Fastball. Molina thinks it's outside, but it's called a strike. And that forces him then. You see him talking right now to the home plate umpire. That forces him to swing at that pitch. And he has something to say to him right there, and tossed right away. Anytime you argue balls and strikes, that's an automatic ejection.
Against the Yankees in July of 2008. Runner goes, the pitch is high. Suzuki's throw is late, and in with a stolen base is Cabrera. A high throw, a good jump for Cabrera, and stolen base number 9 on the year.
High throw and toward the third base side.
So he's in scoring position. A's leading 4-0, and Weeks took the high throw, tried to reach back with a sweep tag, and it didn't work. What Francoeur did last year was win a game against the Yankees being hit by a pitch. DiNardo did that, and now here comes Bob Melvin. Bob Melvin wants to talk to Tim Cheetah now at third base.
This is the umpire argument cycle.
He's got one more to go. He gets to Jeff Nelson. He will have completed it. I don't understand why he's talking to Tim Cheetah, though, in this particular instance. Bob Melvin is asking Cheetah maybe to provide some help to the second base umpire, Bill Welke.
He says to Cheetah, you're the crew chief here. Get the rest of your guys on the ball today.
And apparently Cheetah just told something to Bob Melvin which satisfied him for the moment. Because then Bob kind of raised his hand and said, okay, I heard what I wanted to hear. But you know what? This guy's pretty feisty. If he's got something he wants to know, well, he's just been thrown out of the game. That's the situation. Bob Melvin has been ejected from today's game. He just flipped the lineup card to Joel Skinner.
The 2-2 pitch. And there's a line drive. That's going to be fair. Up the right side. He got a fastball. Extra bases. Joyce scores. Longoria will cross the plate. And the Rays add 2. It's going to make it a 5-1 game, and Longoria struggled to score. That's a double for Sean Rodriguez.
Well, why in the world they would go with a fastball there, I have absolutely no idea. You just threw a slider, and he took a terrible-looking swing, and you come back with a fastball. This is just a dumb pitch. That's the only pitch that he had a chance on. He shoots his ball down the right field line. It was touched by a fan.
Well, then there might be some question as to whether Longoria will score. Evan crossed the plate, and I think that's what Edwin Rodriguez wants. He wants to nullify or at least delay the potential for an additional run. And he's just been ejected by Ted Barrett.
Well, this is a lot of frustration from a 1-in-15 stretch boiling over.
It's Tim McClellan coming down, the crew chief. So Barrett and Rodriguez practically nose to nose. Edwin Rodriguez has been ejected.
Two Gold Gloves in 2009 and last year. And strike 3, and he's hot at the call. The Bourne called out by Jeff Nelson. Down go the Astros in order. 7 and a roots. Michael Bourne's just been kicked out. Bourne Bourne has been kicked out of the game by plate umpire Jeff Nelson, arguing about strike 3. He felt it was inside. Jeff thought it caught the corner. And when you start hollering at the umpire, you're the one who's going to lose. And there's the goodbye signal. So the Astros are short in the outfield anyway because Hunter Pence can't play. He hurt his arm. And Jason Michael will be taken over. Talking about being kicked out of the game, Brad Mills came out onto the field to talk to the plate umpire Jeff Nelson. It looked like he was having a very calm discussion, and instead, Brad is kicked out. Brad's from Visalia, went to College of the Sequoias. He managed in the Dodger system at Las Vegas for 2 years. He was, among other things, Terry Francona's roommate at Arizona State. He was an All-American at ASU. And Brad also coached under Terry Francona at Boston. He was a pretty good player, but always bothered with bad knees.
In one of those costumes at some point. And he hits him. Morgan drilled by a Neiman pitch. Wait a minute. Bob Davidson is bringing him back, saying he leaned into it. Bob Davidson saying Morgan did not get out of the way, and Ron Renicky is livid.
Well, unless it was over the plate, it's going to be a ball. It'll be a 1-2 count. And Bob Davidson's always been one to see things a little bit differently than everybody else sees. How often do you ever see that called unless it's blatantly obvious? But Bob Davidson, let's check it out. That's a terrible call. That's brutal. I mean, what are you looking at? He's turning away. He's turning away from the pitch and ends up hitting him in the shoulder, and that's just flat out brutal. There's no excuse to make that call unless he just leans his arm out there or his leg. I mean, it's got to be more obvious than that. Come on, Bob.
The 3-2 pitch and a strikeout. Morgan is gone, and doing all he can to keep it quiet around Bob Davidson, who has about as quick of a hook as anyone.
Well, it looked like Morgan swung at a pitch out of the strike zone, and here's Bob Davidson putting his signature on this game.
Now he just threw him out. Bob Davidson just threw out Nigel Morgan, who's walking to the dugout, or did he? Was it Dale Swaim?
Dale Swaim's gone.
Okay, I beg your pardon.
And it was a brutal call. I mean, anybody other than Bob Davidson that saw that play would not have called that. And now he's going to probably end up throwing out Ron Renicky on a play that he botched.
Dale Swaim was the one ejected. Ron Renicky still barking at Bob Davidson, and out he goes. His first ejection as a Brewer manager.
Now, you just would expect better than that from a major league umpire. As long as Bob Davidson's been around, that's just a terrible call. And now two guys have been ejected, Dale Swaim and Ron Renicky.
You could read Ron Renicky's lips echoing what you just said. Now everybody in the ballpark is looking at you, talking to Bob Davidson.
I guess that's what his goal is, and he succeeded.
So the Brewers lose their manager and their hitting coach
over a call that was absolutely ridiculous.
Drops down, breaking ball. That ball was foul. Well, not according to James Hoy. That ball was foul. If he can't see it because he's blocked by Soto, he needs to get some help. picked it up behind the plate.
That ball was in fair territory, rolled back with the spin, and back of the plate.
Watch this. It's got to be unfair if he fouls it straight down, but watch it come back and watch where he picks it up. That's foul. Terrific movement. Ball hit hard. Off the glove. He's got time. Brings Morris off the bag. He tagged him. And now they're saying that he got him. Mike Estabrook. And Paulie, boy, you never see him. Now they're going to have a discussion. Crew Chief Jeff Nelson says, hey, come here.
Well, this is going to be interesting because Paulie, you're right, never argues. Ozzie came out. He wanted to protect Paul more than anything else. Telling Paul to go to first base. Now, he did pull him off the bag by plenty. That was not an issue. And we'll slow it down for you and give you the look, and we'll see what happens. He pulls him off the bag. Boy, it's very close.
Yeah, it was.
If he got him at all, he brushed him. Maybe they're asking if they thought that Morris put the tag on him. And he calls him safe.
Oh, boy.
It could very well be on the play that Jeff Nelson at home plate had a better look at it.
Now the umpire is telling him to get back in that dugout.
And I think Morris was thrown out of the game, I think. And if McLaren hasn't gotten a run, he will.
Well, I got to say one thing. That's one of the few times you'll ever see that. On a play at first base where the home plate umpire can say, wait a minute, after he's already called him out. Wait a minute. That's one of the few times you'll ever see it. And the biggest thing is one thing, and that is to get the play right. And if Nelson thought that Estabrook, because Estabrook really didn't have a good look at it.
Well, we'll slow it down for you as slow as we possibly can. Now he clearly comes off the bag. That's no doubt. Paulie sees he's going to tag him. Even when you slow it down, you can't really tell.
That's right. But Nelson, look at where he was. He was in good position.
Well, Nelson was in the best position.
Estabrook was not in position, so Nelson made the call for the conference.
Well, now McLaren gets the boot. You figure he's gone.
Oh, yeah. He's got to. They must have thrown out Harrison.
And Jerry Hairston wants to get a piece of the umpire. That's not a good idea.
No.
Dan Radisson and Bo Porter trying to keep him away.
I think so. Umpiring crew did a good job in getting those Nationals back in the dugout. They should not have started storming out over the field out of that dugout.
You get the manager will come out.
That's it.
You can understand. You can understand where the first baseman would probably argue the call. McLaren is thrown out. We thought that Morris was thrown out because he went into the dugout. He was just assuming that it was a third out. And so we're going to see a new left fielder.
Dodgers had hopes last inning with Carroll with a one-out single before Ethier with an inning-ending double play. And the count 1-2, and both Kemp and the crowd not happy with Chris Conroy's call on this one. Went around. On the outside corner, strike three, and Matt Kemp goes down. That's the fourth strikeout of the game for Tyler Chatwood.
Gets a fastball right there.
So 4 strikeouts for Chatwood, all called third strikes.
Well, and you see Matt Kemp just got thrown out. Home plate umpire Chris Conroy threw him out. He's arguing from home plate. Excuse me, from the dugout. That part about all this, and it's something that I completely had a problem with when I was a player. There's an emotional component when you're a player, and you're upset. If you're at the other end of the dugout and you're screaming out onto the field, the umpires need to just disregard that, unless it's just verbally abusive, because you're emotional. It's gonna die down. You're gonna get tired, but you can't be looking into the dugout. Oh, who's doing that? And then just can somebody, especially a guy like Matt Kemp. Come on.
You know, it's one thing to be shown up right around the plate area.
Yeah, and I don't think that's the issue right there. I mean, that's not what he was upset about. I think he was upset about the check swing and the fact that they appealed it. And he'll go back and look at it, and, okay. But see that, I just think that's too quick.
Chris Conroy chasing Matt Kemp. And so now the Dodgers are without their biggest weapon of the game.
On the inside corner, and Holiday strikes out.
And Holiday is just thrown out of the game by the home plate umpire, Marvin Hudson. I'm sure Holiday is saying, wait a minute, the first strike was outside, and now you give him the other side of the plate as well. Well, and that's the problem if you're a hitter. You may say you can take one and expand the zone a bit, but if you expand it the other direction as well, that one clearly inside, and Holiday, again, it's the situation that makes it worse. Tying run at the plate, your home run hitter. And here's our Mr. Consonants.
Oh, Taylor Teagarden, like I think you and me wondering, how was that not strike 3? Andy Fletcher said, I guess it was low. Wow.
It's right down the middle of the plate.
Holy cow.
It missed the target. Taylor had to move his glove from the outside to the middle of the plate, but.
And a shot down the left field line, and that is, of course, a fair ball. And Paulino will score to make it 6-3. That's 3 runs now that have scored after calls that really looked like they were missed calls by Reynolds in the second inning and by Andy Fletcher here. And now Mike Maddox getting into it with Andy Fletcher, and that will cut short his afternoon, and Ron Washington as well. So he'll get his money's worth now, you can be sure. Holland had Murphy struck out. Fletcher called it low. It was well over the center of the plate in the strike zone. The very next pitch, an RBI double by Murphy, and Washington just seen enough of this today.
Yeah, there really wasn't much question that the pitch was high enough. And then after looking at the replay, there wasn't much question that it was right near the center of the plate.
I can't remember the last time I heard this level of booing at the ballpark. But it's been building all afternoon.
Yeah, just a lot of frustrating things. You know, you can't use them. You can use them for an excuse if you want to, but the bottom line is you got to do what it takes to win a ball game in spite of things that you don't like. And so what the Rangers have to do is get the Mets out right here, keep it a 6-3 game, and then take advantage of your last 4 bats and score some runs.
He's going to bunt it and lay it down to the right side. Hill, quick throw. Got it. That is a really good play by Aaron. He's safe. He put him off the bag. And here comes John Farrell. What took so long for the call? I don't know. It's as if he took 4 or 5 extra seconds to indicate. He doesn't even know what he called. Well, now they're calling him out. He didn't even see it. What in the world? He had to get help from Alfonso Marquez, the home plate umpire. And now he's going to explain it to Jim. He was way out. What didn't he see? I don't know. He wasn't screened. I have no idea. He's right there. Guess he had a Jim Joyce moment. Oh man, Jim Leland's fired up about this too. He's thinking, how can the guy who's 5 feet away from the play call him safe and then have it reverse? Well, once Jim goes in and looks at it, he'll realize that the right call is made. I think he probably realizes he was out, but he's fired up about the fact that he was originally called safe and they overruled it. Because he clearly was out. Don't give yourself an ulcer over that, Jim. He's halfway there. Yep, see, that's exactly what he's talking about. Your guy right there, 5 feet away, called him safe. This is as animated as I've seen the skipper, and there he goes. He's not done yet. Well, he showed him that. That's why he ran. I've never seen Leland like this. Recreating the play and everything. That's Ed Rapuano, first base umpire. So the sacrifice by Dirks will advance the runner. Jim Leland continues to argue. Clearly out. But no indication was given. Well, when he made these hand gestures. That's when he got ran. That is the best show he has put on since he's been here. And he's still going at it. Looked like Leland was playing a game of charades. Ed Rapuano is the first base umpire. He's the one that made that call. He got some help from Marquez. And Leland's getting a standing O for this as he finally leaves Rapuano. He got something from Mr. Marquez too? Yes, he does. Oh man, this is some kind of show tonight. Who needs the fireworks? Leland going off. And he's still going at it. Jim just doesn't want to leave.
Rolled out to shortstop. Blanco falls, gets it to second. Kinsler. No, Bob, that is not an out at first.
He anticipated. He was cranking that up before the play was even finished.
Well, he called him out, but Brad Mills is going to let him know that was not the right call. Yeah, he started into his motion and he went through with it.
Blanco goes to his backside. It was kind of fun to watch, but Keppinger beat that play at first base.
5-2 Texas. Well, Brad Mills was arguing with the Bob Davidson call, but then the crew chief, Jerry Lane, came over, got involved, and threw him out after a lengthy argument.
But basically, I think Brad was telling Jerry Lane, why do you have to come over here and protect Bob? I mean, Bob's been a major league umpire for a long, long time. And at some point in that conversation, Jerry Lane took over, and ultimately he's the one that tossed Brad.
he goes around at 0-2.
Home plate umpire did it.
Phil Cuzzy calls it, and they're going to throw him out as Sanchez fires his bat. So not only does he strike out, but the Marlins lose one of their best hitters. Once you throw a piece of equipment, in this case the bat, you got a pretty good chance of being thrown out.
Well, there is such a thing as equipment violation. And you could be fined. That was not a swing either. Nope. And look at Gio. Gio's pointing. He wants an appeal to first base, and still Phil Cuzzy calls it. That's not even close. Wow. We saw it in Philadelphia. It was ridiculous then. It's ridiculous here, even though it helps the A's. But there's no way a home plate umpire can see that. Well, in this case, no swing. And why they don't just automatically defer to first and third base umpire is beyond me. Why do we even think about calling themselves?
Maybe he can open things up down there and help himself out.
Runner goes. Strike 3 call. Tag applied late. Stolen base Ackley, his first. So another first. We've got a chance to witness for Dustin Ackley's first stolen base.
Feet first slide. A lot of times when the ball bounces down there, it'll be just enough as that glove comes up to make the catch. You have to bring it back down to put the tag on it. That's usually the difference in throwing a guy out or him being saved.
And that was in ultra mode. It was close. And good job by Gary Darling to get that right. Wedge has got a problem here with home plate umpire Paul Emmel. He's going to get run here. This body language doesn't look good. He's backing him up. He may already be gone.
Emmel has a reputation of tossing guys quickly, and I think it came from the third strike that he called on Jack, and Jack was chirping a little bit. And the one thing I can tell you this is, as Eric's letting him have it, is you don't want to hear from the bench. Well, then keep your head out of the dugout too. Something set him off, and I missed it when we were watching the replay.
He clearly is gone. I didn't see the sign, but he's getting his money's worth right now with 2 outs and a runner at second. Gary Darling coming out. I mean, Wedge is wearing him out.
And the fans appreciate it.
And how about...
He's got some fire in him, I'll tell you that.
And I like the way he positioned. He positioned so he couldn't walk away from him back to home plate. He cut him off at the pass and got right in his grill.
Here's the pitch. This is the pitch. Jack didn't like it. He thought the pitch was down. Emmel rings him up. Jack said something to him, probably asking if it was down or not, or disagreeing with Emmel in some sort. And then everything else happened after the fact as we were watching the replay of Dustin Ackley stealing second.